Welcome to Soccer Morning. Here's your host, Jason Davis.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Soccer Morning on Backheel.com. We are happy to have you here with us for yet another day of talking soccer for, 89 minutes or so. 80, 85, 83 minutes, whatever. Some amount of minutes will be covered, will be used to cover soccer here in this space today. I'm very excited for this program. Today represents the return of Sam Kelly, who covers Argentinian football down in South America. Buenos Aires, if I'm not mistaken, is where he's based. So we'll talk to Sam about the Argentinian Premier League. I can never get a grasp on exactly the format of that league. They seem to change it all the time. Like halfway through the season, they're like, let's do it differently this time. Let's have 20 teams this year and 30 teams next year. They'll probably have 50 teams the year after that. But there's some fascinating storylines down in Argentina, including the hiring of a new coach at Boca Juniors. So we'll get into that with Sam Kelly coming up in just a couple of minutes here on Soccer Morning. In the meantime, we will do the news. Let's go ahead and dive into that before Sam joins us here. Two MLS teams crashing out of the CONCACAF Champions League on Tuesday night. DC United drawing 1-1 with Querétaro at RFK Stadium. They lose the tie 3-1 on aggregate to the Mexican club. The only real silver lining for DC United, the first career goal for Julian Boucher, who scored a stunner from about 30 yards, but too little too late for DC United. LA Galaxy, who did not take advantage of their home leg at the StubHub Center and drew 0-0 with Santos Laguna last week, went to Mexico and laid an egg, losing 4-0. Bruce Arena said, it's been obviously a complaint of ours for a number of years, and talking about the schedule. However, in fairness to CONCACAF, they're adherent to FIFA's international calendar. We're the league that doesn't recognize the international calendar, and therefore we get punished for it. There you go. That's maybe not an excuse, just another acknowledgement of some of the difficulty that MLS teams have in the tournament. But there it is. Santos Laguna takes down LA Galaxy in emphatic fashion. Two more MLS teams, the last two MLS teams, obviously, with a chance to go through the semifinals, play tonight. RSL is down 2-0 against Tigres as they go to Utah tonight, and Seattle facing Club America at the Estadio Azteca, tied 2-2 on aggregate, so they need to score goals. Banned UEFA President Michel Platini has lodged an appeal over his punishment by FIFA with the Court of Arbitration for Sport. The statement reads, in appealing to the CAS, Michel Platini seeks to annul the decisions taken by the adjudicatory chamber of the FIFA Ethics Committee and by the FIFA Appeal Committee, which led him to being declared ineligible to take part in football-related activity at a national and international level for 6 years. A CAS arbitration procedure is in progress. First, the parties will exchange written submissions, and a panel of 3 arbitrators will be consulted. The panel will then issue directions with respect to the holding of a hearing. Following the hearing, the panel will deliberate, and on a later date will issue a decision in the form of an arbitral award, which is just arbitral award. It's the first time I've ever heard those words together. I know, I'm sorry, I put you to sleep with all of that, but just know Michel Platini does not want to go quietly. He wants to make a bunch of noise and hopefully get back into the game. And even if he is reinstated, I don't know what kind of role he has back with UEFA or in FIFA. Premier League results from yesterday. Leicester City misses a chance to improve on their title chances with a 2-2 draw against West Brom. At home, Villa falling 1-3 to Everton. Sunderland with a 2-2 draw against Crystal Palace. Bournemouth 2-0 over Southampton, and Norwich falling 1-2 to Chelsea. Chelsea quietly climbing up the table. Now we know that they're not going to make it into any lofty positions in the Premier League in 2015-2016, but hey, you know what? At one point we wondered if they might be pulled into a relegation battle. Nope, there they are in 8th place. So they are now in the top half of the table, tied on 39 points with Stoke City, chasing a Europa League spot. That might be something that Chelsea fans can get behind next year, considering how bad things were. Maybe Antonio Conte can take them to a bit of silverware in his first year. Excuse me. Today in the Premier League, Spurs have a chance to go top of the table on goal difference if they win at Upton Park against West Ham. They are 3 points back of Leicester City right now and have a better goal difference than the Foxes. Stoke hosts Newcastle today, Liverpool versus Manchester City in a rematch of the League Cup final, and Manchester United plays Watford. We've talked about the possibility of a Super League in Europe for a long, long time. Recently, we had some comments out of Germany that there may be some talk about it. Here's a bit of news. Miami Dolphins owner Steve Ross, founder of International Champions Cup organizer RSE Ventures, reportedly met in London with officials from Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool about forming a European Super League. This is according to The Sun. So, yeah, right there, we already have an issue. Sources told ESPN FC, however, that big Premier League clubs remain happy with the current Champions League format, and that a breakaway league has been discussed, however, because of concerns from Italy and Italian and Spanish clubs about the growing financial clout of the Premier League. Now, Arsenal directly addressed these rumors. They said not Arsenal nor any clubs at the meeting are seeking changes to the Premier League and European landscape, and no conversations surrounding displacing the Premier League or starting a European Super League took place. Discussions were primarily around the ICC and formats of European competitions that would complement the existing Premier League. At least one outlet reports that it wasn't Ross himself that was at the meeting, as a matter of fact, just representatives from RSE, and that the topic really might have been just the ICC, the International Champions Cup, which we know takes place here in the United States, in Australia, and a couple other places. So, maybe a bunch of false alarms, but people are definitely on edge about the possibility of a Super League. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Sam Kelly, he will join us from Hasta El Gol Siempre, from the Hand of Pod, talk some Argentinian football. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
Welcome to Soccer Morning. Here's your host, Jason Davis.
We are back on Soccer Morning. My apologies for all of that, including the issues with our audio. I believe everything is fixed tech-wise at the moment. Unfortunately, we do not have Sam Kelly from Buenos Aires because, well, I don't know why. No Sam Kelly, so that means the phone lines are open, 646-832-3909. If you want to get in. Obviously, we can hit on anything that I touched on in the news there, from yesterday's Premier League, today's Premier League, the MLS issues in the CONCACAF Champions League, which continue to be the story of the day when it comes to American soccer, the inability to get over the top when it comes to that competition. The chance for Spurs to go first in the Premier League. I mean, what's the last time Spurs were in first place in the English Premier League? Anybody know? I'm sure it'll be thrown up there as a stat on Twitter if they manage to beat West Ham today. This Super League situation, if that is a thing, and again, Arsenal denying it. Imagine we're going to get several other teams issuing statements in the same vein. The idea of a Super League is not going to go anywhere, but if this wasn't a meeting to actually discuss a possible Super League, then let's not paint it as something it wasn't. We do have a situation on Twitter as well with word that Kai Kamara is likely to get a new deal from the Columbus Crew that will pay him $1 million a year. After 22 goals last year, helping the Crew to an MLS Cup final, I say good for Kai. Good for Kai to be able to step up his salary based on that performance. 646-832-3909 is the phone number. Also in the news, Galatasaray handed a one-year ban from European football for, I believe that's the match-fixing situation, right? Let me just I saw that on Twitter, too, in passing. Let me just go ahead and here. Oh, financial fair play. Yeah, come on, Galatasaray. You got to fall in line with financial fair play. You get your butt banned. You can't play in Europe if you're spending more than you're making. Galatasaray have been suspended from European competition for a year for breaching financial fair play rules, UEFA has confirmed. The club will be excluded from the Champions League or Europa League if they qualify this season or next. European football's governing body said in January that the Turkish champions had broken regulations on the level of financial losses allowed. They are currently fifth in the Super League in Turkey. Finishing in that position would lead them outside the qualifying places for Europe, so that wouldn't be an issue, obviously. Okay, so Bo Durr on Twitter wants me to talk about the story in The Guardian about League One America, which was one of the proposals for America's professional league back in the early 90s between the awarding of the World Cup to the United States and the launch of MLS. Let me see if I can find whatever story Bo is actually discussing, because that would be a fascinating thing to review this morning. I also have we can also discuss what Grant Wall did, which was go around and ask MLS executives and owners about a certain element of soccer that America does not ascribe to. That one where some teams go down into a lower league and some teams come up. That thing. What's that thing called? Does it have a thing? Does it have a name? Feel like we can name it anything we want at this point. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The third rail of American soccer, promotion and relegation. Just waiting for pages to load on me. So here we go. I will read the League One story and get to that here shortly. Also, I didn't mention this either in the news. Christian in Michigan, what's up, man?
Hi. I'm a Hearts supporter.
Okay.
And also an American.
So you're that
I
one.
am absolutely thrilled about Perry Kitchen.
Okay, you're that guy. You're the you're the
right?
You're the American Hearts supporter. Running with Hearts, a bit of a surprise, and I hope you don't take offense to this, Christian. I'm not sure that that's a step up for Perry Kitchen.
I kind of agree. It's a real coup for Hearts.
So you know, obviously he was out of contract with DC United. I'm sure they made him an offer, which means they hold his rights if he comes back. But really, what this was about was getting paid for Perry Kitchen. I don't begrudge him the right to go get paid. I do wish he had found a better league, and again, that's no slight against Hearts, who has, outside of Rangers and Celtic, obviously one of the bigger names in Scottish football. It's just that, and I don't know. Do you have a sense of whether or not he's getting paid more?
It's difficult to say. Hearts, they just came out of administration 2 years ago, so they're being real strict with their finances. But I mean, if they're making the investment in him, I think it's a good way. He's going to just dominate the SPL.
Okay.
I think it could be the springboard to him getting in the Copa America squad. And
Oh, really? You think it's that? You think he could be that good there?
I do. I mean, Celtic would have done well to sign him, I feel like.
Okay.
So I feel like this is a smart career move because Hearts they're a selling club. Like
All right,
he could really move.
Yeah. Last time, so you said they came out of administration. Are they fan owned right now?
Transitioning to that.
Okay,
Yeah.
transitioning to that. Where are they in the standings right at the moment?
They're third. They're out of the cup competitions. They're like 9 points back from third. So I don't really. I mean, the investment in Perry Kitchen's great, but the rest of this season, it kind of just is what it is, you know.
Okay.
But they'll be in Europe next season in the Europa League. So, and honestly, with Perry Kitchen in the squad, it's pretty good. They could push
Right.
Celtic. I mean, he's really good. Yeah, and it's a great signing for them.
12 points back of first place Celtic, who you would expect to be in first. Aberdeen is in second, and then a bunch of, obviously filling out the league. Ross County, Johnstone, Dundee, Inverness, Motherwell, Partick, Hamilton, Kilmarnock, Dundee United, and obviously we know Rangers down in the second division. Since I have you on the air, Christian, since you're a Scottish football fan, and I don't get a lot of those around here, just give me your take on the state of Scottish football right now, and obviously whether or not Rangers makes it back up next year.
Sure. Well, Rangers, they're almost free and clear to come back up. And I think as difficult as that is to not like Rangers, because they sign players even when they're in the third division. They were signing players away from Hearts. It was really frustrating, but I think that is ultimately good for Scottish football to have the old firm back together. Hibs will come back up, and so there'll be a Hearts and Hibs derby. Well, maybe they won't, but they might. In terms of the national team, it's a bit of a mess. But with Rangers back up and with Hibs there and with Hearts improving now, we got a really good young manager. I think our European coefficient could have some bump. And hopefully Celtic, they were just awful in the Champions League and in Europa League. So hopefully it's going in the right direction for the domestic league. The national team's a bit of a mess, but
Yeah.
What are you going to do, you know?
Rangers now 14 points up on Hibs, first place in the championship in Scotland. So very likely that they'll come up. All right, last thing here. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm sure you've thought about all of these issues, being a fan of a Scottish team. The future of Scottish football, what does that look like for you? I mean, every now and then we do get the thought, the not a rumor necessarily, but somebody proposes the idea that Rangers and Celtic and maybe one or two other clubs jump into the English system. Where are you on sort of how Scottish football can even maintain some sort of relevancy in Great Britain, much less in Europe?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think that would suck if Rangers and Celtic went, but I mean, I guess maybe Hearts fans and maybe fans of the other SBL teams have been of the opinion, if you want to go ahead. Like, we're not going to beg you to stay. I think it would be bad for Scottish football. It would probably be bad for Rangers and Celtic. I don't think they could. They're used to just dominating the Scottish FA, and honestly, they get a lot of biased decisions and a lot of waivers, even though Hearts got, I think, a waiver to sign Perry Kitchen here, but they always seem to get the waivers and the other teams don't get them. But they can go if they want to. I think Scottish football would be good to consolidate their pyramid system a little bit, and maybe potentially expand their first division. But I don't know, it's difficult to say. They're
Right.
good clubs. But if they went, Scottish football is always going to have the interest in Scotland, but maybe not the interest in Great Britain and world football. But that time might be gone with the money in football these days. I don't think we're ever going to see, what was it, Celtic ran the quadruple or whatever once. I don't think that's ever going to happen with what's going on in finances right now.
Okay. I appreciate the call. And let's wish Perry Kitchen the best of luck at Hearts. Thanks for the call, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
By the way, one of the best things about Perry Kitchen joining Hearts was that everybody discovered, and I didn't know this either, but everybody discovered that Hearts' Twitter handle is Jam Tarts, what does that even mean? I mean, to me, Jam Tarts, that sounds something delicious. That's something I'd like to eat right now. I'm very hungry. It's breakfast time, and I've had one banana today. So I would like some Jam Tarts. Is that what they are? Is it a food stuff? I'm confused. Why not just Hearts? Why not? You know what I always thought was interesting is that the Rangers Twitter handle, not claimed by the Scottish Football Club, claimed by the American baseball team, Rangers. Not Rangers, but the Texas Rangers. They're not. That's. I always thought that was interesting. I don't even know what Rangers from Scotland, what their Twitter handle is. What is it? Is it RFC or something? Like RFC Scotland? Rangers? I don't know. 646-832-3909. I don't have it here. Let me see if I can find it. I don't follow Rangers on Twitter. Rangers FC. Got to throw the FC in there, apparently. All right. So, Perry Kitchen to Hearts. What do you make of that, American soccer fans? Does Perry Kitchen have a national team future? Does going to Hearts improve his chances of getting into the national team? Yeah, it's Europe. But I think we're all of the opinion, most of us anyway, that going to any Scottish club is a dicey proposition from a quality standpoint. And if you're going to a Scottish club that's not playing European football, that's even less defensible. Unless he's getting paid. In which case, I don't blame him. Go get paid, young man. Get yours. Get some stuff. All right, I got to scan this League One story, League One America story that Bo just sent in my direction. It's pretty in depth. It's long. It talks about all the wacky rule changes that were present in the League One America proposal. It talks about the voting process, the different proposals that were on the table for U.S. soccer to get involved with. In terms of launching a professional league, as was, again, required by FIFA as part of the awarding of the 1994 World Cup to the United States. All right. Here's the thing. Innovative rules meant really innovative. Same skills, same basic components, but a new game. When putting together plans for the league, Paglia, who was the man in charge, was approached in early 1993 by a doctor called Jay Kessler. Kessler, Paglia said, had been working on proposals for a new version of soccer that he thought would be more suited to the U.S. sports fan. Over the months that followed, it was agreed that they would use the altered version of the game named Pro Zone Soccer, which now, if you said Pro Zone Soccer to me before I read this story, I would have thought that was like some, coaching company or something. Improve your skills. Come join Pro Zone Soccer, where we teach you how to be a pro in the zone. The game being proposed saw the pitch divided into colored chevrons, limiting certain players' movements within these zones. Players would also wear different colored shirts based on their position to help distinguish the zones they were allowed to enter. Red for defenders, blue for midfielders, yellow for forwards, white for strikers. What the hell is this? Defenders could only go 45 yards from the opposition's goal, but 15 yards from their own goal. In order to monitor whether a player had entered an unpermitted zone, 8 officials would be present, and each player would wear an electronic signaling device that would set off a series of buzzers and lights in the high-tech stadiums. They weren't designing a soccer league. They were designing a futuristic... What? Like, seriously, this sounds like something from Tron. It sounds like something from... How did I not know this stuff? There will also be a points-based system, so long-range goals would be worth more. These points range from 1 for a striker to 3 for a defender, and a team could earn an extra half point if their player scored between the post and the traditional size goal and a new, larger outer goal that was being proposed. Now it's got Australian rules football, and what's the Gaelic football, and what the heck is happening here? This outer goal, the plans hoped, would make games more difficult for modern-day goalkeepers. When goalposts were first designed, the average English goalkeeper was 5'7", Paglia explained, whereas today the average keeper is over 6 feet tall. Instead of halves, games would be split into 3 20-minute periods. Now it's hockey. Each team had to change some part of the lineup between the first and second period. In the third period, they could use the first period's lineup, the second period's lineup, or a completely new lineup altogether. What the hell is happening here? Who were these people, and what did they think they were doing? Wow. Secondly, for those perhaps who played the sport but did not like it as did not like to it as a spectacle. Can't talk anymore. This thing is so weird. Prozone offered an alternative. Paglia likened it to softball and baseball. Many Americans play softball growing up, but in terms of which they prefer to watch, people would prefer to flock to baseball. The conventional version is the one you can play, Paglia says. My version is the one you can watch. I'm already confused, except Paglia said that between 90 and 95% of fans understood the game within the first 12 minutes, quote, because it was so sensual and auditory. Guys, we need to talk about this. 646-832-3909. Good golly. Imagine if this had passed. Imagine if this was the league they went with. I had always heard about League One America, and I did not know it included any of this. I thought it was just maybe a different format of competition, maybe a different number of teams, maybe different, I don't know, cities involved. I didn't know they wanted to invent a new game. That's the thing, though. This isn't soccer. So to say that this was a soccer league and a soccer proposal is disingenuous. This wasn't soccer. I want to talk to this guy. He says that he's shied away from interviews about the topic, the gentleman who proposed the whole deal, Jim Paglia. The field diagram, what the heck? You have to see this thing. You have to see. So there are 15-yard zones laid out. The field is cut into 15-yard sections. There are, as it mentioned, chevrons, sort of, in the places in which different players in different positions can go. It's obviously so. If you're a striker, you can be as close to the opponent's goal as you want, but you're not allowed to go farther back than a certain section of the field. Not in the middle. It's 45 yards. Towards the end, or towards the sideline, towards the touchline, it's 30 yards. I mean, I don't even know if I can explain this over the air with any sort of accuracy and have you understand what I'm talking. There's no way 90 to 95% of the people understood the game in the first 12 minutes. No. Okay. Here's one of the best parts. EDE, the company behind the proposal, Entertainment and Destination Enterprises, sounds like a company that builds casinos in Vegas, intended to develop 12 complexes across the country, with each 60 or more acre plot, including a soccer stadium. These complexes would be at key focal points in the metropolitan areas, including 20,000 plus seat stadiums that were all practically the same. 100 skyboxes, state-of-the-art broadcast facilities, video scoreboards, the capability to host non-soccer events, identical layouts and appearance. All right. For players, EDE documents stated that they intended for League One America to be, quote, made in America product. Having seen the NASL fail due to its overpaying of aging foreign stars, among other things, EDE decided that League One America teams should be limited to two players from outside North America. I mean, I obviously I don't mind the whole let's let Americans be the focal point of an American league, but come on, this isn't not even soccer. Wow. Anyway, 646-832-3909. Some of this in Bo Durr's book, Long Range Goals, which, by the way, I still need to get a copy of. I apologize to Bo profusely for not having read his book. I should go read his book. I should go do that. Controversy erupted last night on Twitter. It's sort of mini controversy, people getting all worked up for basically no reason. This all relates to the Champions League performance on the part of the MLS teams last night. Robert in California pointing me to these tweets. The LA Galaxy Twitter account, run by people I know. I mean, this isn't one of those things where it's anonymous and we're not sure who tweeted this. I'm pretty sure I know who tweeted this. Put out that shrugging guy thing, like, after they lost 4-0 to Santos Laguna last night. The Angel City Brigade, one of the LA Galaxy supporters groups, responded to this shrugging guy saying, "Are you bleeping stupid or something? Delete this bleep. You're bleeping embarrassing." And I understand the frustration on the part of the Angel City Brigade, or any LA Galaxy fans for that matter. DC United didn't avoid their own measure of controversy. They didn't tweet a shrugging guy. They tweeted something that said, well, preseason is over, on to Sunday. And there was at least one response from a fan that said, preseason, I paid for these tickets. I cared about this game. And you don't. You're calling it preseason. All right. I think look, let's remember that the social media accounts of MLS teams, or any team for that matter, are not a reflection necessarily of what the team in the locker room is thinking or the manager on the sideline is thinking. Should the LA Galaxy have tweeted a shrug? By the way, that's exactly what it looks like, right? Can you screen cap that? The LA Galaxy shouldn't have tweeted that. And DC United should not have tweeted something about preseason being over. Absolutely not. For the bad look for their fans. But I don't know if it's worth getting all worked up over. I don't know if it's worth I don't know if it's worth getting excited about. 646-832-3909. Let's see. We've got Tyler in Virginia who wants to talk about the Galaxy. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, Jason. How you doing, man?
It's been an interesting day. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, there was another. I'm not sure if you saw it. There was another tweet from DC United last night that said pretty much, preseason's over now.
Yeah, I just mentioned that, Tyler. I just mentioned that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that one. Both of those tweets I thought were a little disappointing. I mean, we all understand. We're pretty cognizant of the reality of the situation. That there's obviously a financial component that needs to be addressed, and in addition to the scheduling issues, which don't make it conducive to MLS success. But good Lord, like that, as a fan, is that what you want to see? Like, it doesn't. I have 100% confidence that the players and the coaches were busting their butts out there, really wanting to win. But is that really the kind of thing? Like that nonchalance, that kind
no,
of
course not.
Whatever.
No, but at the same time, again, remember that the social media intern or the media director or the content guy is not the team in the sense that he's not on the field, he's not the coach. Okay. So that being said, everything that comes out of a social media account, barring something truly abhorrent, barring cursing, barring disrespect towards an opponent, barring hate speech, barring certain behaviors we know cross the line, are really just it's all. I mean, to me, it's just like, what's the point? Like, be mad your team failed. Be mad at the Galaxy. If you're a Galaxy fan, be mad that they fell flat on their face against. It's not that they lost. It's the way that they lost, right? If you're DC United, fan, be disappointed that they couldn't get the job done at home. I mean, really, be disappointed. But I mean, and I don't know. Like, I guess grand scheme. I'm too big picture. It's a bad look, and they shouldn't have done it. And I imagine there are going to be some serious discussions with those guys at both of those clubs today. And I hope that happens. And I hope they have an understanding. I don't think anybody should lose their job, but there should be an understanding. Yes, this is where we send our message to our fans, as Trevor is saying. And because of that, you should be cognizant of how that message looks. And the Galaxy responded with, we're as frustrated as you are. We apologize. We're as frustrated as you are. And maybe that's not good enough. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I just think it was a bad look. Not how you want to come across to your fans, the people that are, supporting you, paying money, this and that, investing their time. So, like you said, in the grand scheme of things, I'm sure it will quickly be forgotten, but on the night of the loss, there just should have been something that was a little bit more thought out.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tyler. I am with you. I mean, again, I'm trying to make this. I'm not trying to minimize the fans being angry about it. Be angry, but I'm not. It's still like ultimately, you're gonna get to Sunday. You're gonna root for your team. Hopefully these.
And ironically enough, both of these two teams play each other on Sunday.
That's right, they do. Maybe they can time out the perfect tweet to make a little fun of themselves for being so flippant last night, because that's what it is. And I do have to remember, okay, and sometimes not being passionate about an MLS team means that I sometimes forget this, but I have to remember that this game is about passion, and if you have passion, you're going to be angry when your team loses, and you're going to be angry when the people representing your team act flippant about losing. I get it.
Yeah. I think that's just what it comes down to. I'm excited and focused on the season now. Nonetheless.
Well, I mean, what are your, just since you're here, Tyler? Give me your prognostication for your boys.
I'm a little torn right now. Last night, kind of muddied the picture for me as far as DC United goes. But I also recognize that the iteration of the team that we saw last night hopefully won't be the first choice group of guys that's out there. You had Marcus Halsey, who I fully expect to be starting in the middle of the park with Marcelo Sarvis, missing a lot of the preseason due to the birth of a child, I believe. And, so that kind of took a toll, not having him there. And then not having Luciano Acosta out there, who, at this point, I have a lot of hope invested in him that he's going to, be the creative player that he's shown himself to be. The first, couple games against Querétaro, he honestly was the best player on DC United in that first Champions League game down in Mexico. I'm really excited about him. Other than that, I just, I don't really have too many expectations. Obviously, Ben Olsen has shown that his style will get wins, so that part of my expectations hasn't changed. I expect them to win. Do I expect it to be attractive? No. I hope, like I said, Acosta can produce some moments of brilliance to keep us entertained, but It seems like it's just going to be some more of the status quo. Actually, I am also really excited about Charlie Horton, the U23 goalkeeper that we signed. He moved back from Leeds. I believe it was Leeds. He had to take care of a family issue, so of course the club released him on back. But since we haven't seen Bill Hamid make it through a full season without being injured, this season being a different, I'm kind of hoping that Charlie can kind of step in and give us that boost that we need at that position, because we all know that DC relies very, very heavily on some good goalkeeping. Mm-hmm. And no disrespect to Andy Dykstra, but he's a backup. He's not starter caliber level. He's definitely not Bill Hamid's level. So I'm hoping that Charlie Horton can kind of come in and pick up the slack a little bit, because I think that's going to be important to DC's success. But also excited about Chris Ross being back. Who else? Lamar Nagel. I think he's going to be great.
By the way, where is Lamar Nagel? Why haven't I seen him?
I want to say I was wondering the same thing, but then I thought maybe he's cup-tied.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So we've got him. We've got pretty much all new wings. Patrick Nyarko from Chicago Fire.
Yeah,
and Lamar Nagel. Those two. I think just that blistering pace is going to terrorize some clubs, hopefully.
Tyler, I look. It's obviously it's the time to be positive. It's time to be hopeful. As you said, you don't expect it to be pretty, but it seems to me you're talking up a lot of guys that are just above MLS average, just above.
Well,
pretty good.
What else have we had? What else have we had the past 2 years?
Okay, I guess it's all relative, isn't it? And you're right. I'm gonna move on, Tyler. But you're right about Luciano Acosta. Okay. He does look fun, at least, and maybe he's the guy. I don't know that he's gonna go. He's not gonna be Jovinko in his first year, but maybe he can finally be the guy who's a spark creatively for DC United, that South American pedigree, which they failed with so many times. Eddie in Brooklyn, what's going on, man?
What's up? I still don't have much of a voice, so you're gonna have to bear with me still.
Oh, okay.
No, when it happens every year. MLS fails miserably, CCL, and everybody starts talking about what can be fixed to kind of get MLS over the hump. And I guess the one excuse, which I'm going to call it, that gets brought up the most is change the schedule. That if CCL started now, that would help MLS in the knockout rounds, because when it starts up again in July, they won't be in preseason mode and they'll have form and all that. I don't want to hear that one anymore. I think that's the one that infuriates me the most.
Why?
Out of all the teams that participate in the CCL, which one doesn't run on a FIFA calendar?
No, I know, Eddie. And what did I say? What have I been saying? Not that you're calling me out, but what have I been saying on this show? For CONCACAF to consider switching the schedule, it's gonna even if there's some other reason, even if they justify it, even if they spin it, people are gonna look at it and go, well, they did that for MLS. Now, I will maintain that this competition is a bunch of BS, completely worthless, as long as it's dominated year in and year out by Mexico, because there's no variety. Why should we care? Let's just why should I be worried about a competition that's not going to give me any intriguing storylines at all? If CONCACAF decides that switching the schedule makes the competition more interesting, I could understand them justifying it from that level. But I will definitely say, well, clearly this is about MLS. This is pandering to MLS, catering to MLS. Is that the right way to go for this competition? Does it make it any more viable and valid as a competition if you're trying to if you're having to move things around because MLS doesn't want to play the same schedule as the tournament follows?
And the problem with this tournament is that it already caters to MLS and League MX too much. So the fact that, and I'm gonna keep saying this, the fact that no MLS and no League MX team can be in the same group during the group stage is the biggest farce of any competition in soccer. If maybe, just maybe, you wouldn't have to worry about getting through so many League MX teams in the knockout stage if maybe Seattle and America can be against each other in the group stage. So when it's July and America's in preseason and Seattle's in full swing, Seattle can knock out America they're in the group stage, and you don't have to worry about them in the quarterfinals. You don't have to worry about them in the semifinals. So maybe if CONCACAF can actually make this tournament legit and stop pandering and catering to League MX and MLS and make it impossible for every other country that's in this tournament to have a shot at making the Cinderella run, maybe, just maybe, that would help solve the problem.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's all legit. Eddie, you got anything else, man?
No, I expected this anyway. I watch a lot of League MX.
I mean, do you have any hope for your boys in the next one?
Like I said, it's going to depend on the group. I think that people are going to have to look out for Saprissa.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they picked up a lot of pieces. They picked up Pinedo to be the keeper. They have a lot of young talent that I'm very sold on. Like Ramirez, they're a really good team who I think in the group stage, if they get a good draw, they can be a headache for somebody who doesn't take the tournament remotely seriously. Like, it has to be, if you get Saprissa in your group, you have to take it 100%. I assume the Rebels will, and I think they have enough depth to get through the group stage. So yeah, Mike Bucky in charge, so I don't have to worry about the MLS 1.0 philosophy of MLS Cup or bust. I think that Jesse Marsch would take the competition seriously.
Yeah, let's thanks for the call, Eddie. Let's when we take stock again in the aftermath of two teams crashing out of the tournament, especially with the Galaxy loss against Santos Laguna last night, the way that went, we are going to get the postmortem. Why did it happen? Well, MLS teams are in their preseason. Okay, that's a factor, whatever. Why did it happen? Well, MLS teams don't have as much money to spend as the League MX teams. Okay, why did it happen? Well, MLS teams don't take it as seriously at various points. It was pointed out last night that DC United bagged their last group game after they had already qualified for the knockout round. They basically threw that one away. Ben Olsen didn't travel. If they had won, they would have finished a better seed in the group stages. They would have avoided the team that they. Or no, was this? Yeah, it was DC United. They would have avoided. Basically, the breakout of the teams would have been different. Anyway, DC United would have been playing Seattle or something like that, because there is no prescription against MLS and playing each other. MLS teams playing each other in the quarterfinals. They could have been drawn together based on the seeding. It was all based on seeding. If you get a better seed, you're more likely to avoid a League MX team. Anyway, sorry, I said that all complicated and wrong, but you know what I'm saying. Gray, what's up, Gray?
Yeah, how you doing, Jason?
I'm good. What's on your mind?
I'm calling in a couple days late. I just wanted to make a comment about the U.S. kit that got leaked in the press. I think that the Federation has to deal with a lack of a traditional image where they're trying to create a brand all the time, and at least my family has a bit of French heritage, and when they did their rebranding after the 2006 World Cup, they have the Coq Sportif to work off of, and you think about the Netherlands, they have their crest, and basically they're just able to modernize it every time they want to update it, whereas the U.S. doesn't have anything to work off of, and I think everybody gets disappointed, and it's really hard because we want something to latch onto, but there's nothing there.
Well, you know what's interesting, Gray, is I think that there's also this strange relationship with patriotic-themed stuff. It's not that people aren't patriotic. It's not that we're not proud to be Americans or that we're not proud to wear red, white, and blue or whatever color. It's sometimes there's a fine line between classy sort of timeless USA branded stuff and cheesy. You know what I mean? Like over the top, crazy. Like the patriotism gets ratcheted up to a level that just is too much. And I think U.S. Soccer was trying to find that the perfect spot, the sweet spot in that zone. And did they hit it? I don't know. They may have gotten as close as they could have.
Yeah, I agree. And there's, before kind of a weird thing to think about, but I remember I think it was the 2002 World Cup or something. There was a thing that was going around with the snake with the "Don't Tread on Me," and then when the Tea Party came over, they kind of took apart that whole snake image. And I think Nike could have run with that if it hadn't have been, taken over by something that was a little too out there. But I don't know. I hope they find something that people can identify with, because I agree. Like, the red, white, and blue thing just can go a little too far, and I don't know. My favorite kit was always the sash stripe one from a few years ago.
Yeah, the sash is the best look they've had recently, I think. Thanks to the call, Gray. The look that they wear on the field, it's unlikely we're going to settle on anything. Again, for the obvious commercial reasons. It's easier for Nike to sell jerseys and make money. U.S. Soccer, too, because of their cut, or because of the way the contracts work, if they change it. Because we don't have an image that's going to sell regardless. That you can tweak just a little bit, and now people show up and buy it, at least at the national team level. I was looking at some of the new MLS jerseys and stuff, and I'm not the fashion guy, really. By the way, I didn't realize they ended Jersey Week. Now everybody has their own approach, like whenever they want to unveil. And I don't think that either Colorado or FC Dallas have unveiled their whatever their new one's going to be, which is weird because the season starts in like 4 days. It does, right? The season does start in 4 days. But I was looking at the jerseys for this coming year. There's some good ones out there, some variety. I am a fan of the Whitecaps. Whichever that new one is, the secondary, I think it is. I do actually like the Sounders secondary as well. The third, which is the blue one. I'm not against NYCFCs, although I'd have to see it on the field to really have any opinion on it. You've got I don't like Portland's, that away number that they released with the red and the black. Too much black. Give me more red, less black. Beyond that, nobody's look is terrible. Houston in the black chevron, or the black shirt with the orange chevron, that's pretty cool. Oh, I forgot about Columbus. Oh my goodness gracious. So I just decided to take a look at these and to give you my quick opinions on them. I decided to run through MLSstore.com. MLSstore.com/jerseys. Not that I'm giving them free plugs, but if you want to see them all. So we've got, the LA Galaxy's new primary with the logo shift. It says Herbalife Nutrition now. We got Toronto FC's new secondary, which is white. There's blue involved for some reason. Vancouver, Seattle, Houston. There's only a few left of the Seattle Sounders FC Clinton Dempsey Adidas Pacific Blue 2016 Authentic Third jersey for $150. What? There's only a few left of that. Because it tells you, if there's only a few left, you want to get on board. You want to jump on this deal now. There's only a few left of the men's Portland Timbers Adidas Green 2016 Authentic Primary Custom Long Sleeve jersey for $179.99. Only a few left. So if you want one, you better get over there and buy it. There's only a few left of the men's Portland Timbers Adidas Green 2016 Authentic Primary Long Sleeve jersey. Wait, I just said that. Oh, that's not custom. That's why. There's only a few left here against the better wisdom of the internet. There's only a few left of the men's Columbus Crew SC Adidas White Yellow 2016 Authentic for Columbus jersey at $120. That's the yellow one with the red stripes and the red collar, and the it goes with blue shorts apparently for the full kit. And people have eviscerated the Columbus Crew for their jersey choice, and here it is. Only a few left. It's selling well. Only a few left of the men's Columbus Crew SC Federico Higuain Adidas White Yellow 2016 Authentic for Columbus jersey. Selling. Only a few Lampards left of the secondary for NYCFC. Just using this as a gauge. What's popular out there? Let's see what the top sellers are. Okay. There's only a few left of those, but the top sellers are still the Galaxy, Toronto FC, the new Vancouver kit, new Vancouver jersey. Okay. 646-832-3909 is the phone number. Got a couple minutes left here. In order for you to jump on board, one thing I have not yet discussed, and I meant to, and I will do it now, is the story that Jonathan Tannenwald has posted to Philly.com that says MLS coaches will be mic'd up for national TV games for the very, very, very first time. ESPN, Fox, and Univision are bringing a new feature to their coverage of Major League Soccer this year. For the first time in league history, head coaches will wear microphones during select broadcasts to bring up-close sound to fans watching at home. Feature will debut in all 3 national TV games when MLS's 21st season kicks off on Sunday. Portland, Columbus at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Seattle, Kansas City at 7 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles, DC United at 10 p.m. Eastern. What will it sound like and look like? You'll likely be able to hear the coaches giving orders to their players as well as enhanced sound from the benches and technical areas. And if everything works out just so, you might get some of the back and forth between a coach and the fourth official on the sideline. Man, I'm excited for this. I'm trying to figure out which coach am I most excited to hear mic'd up for MLS this year. Nelly down in Texas. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Jason? I just sent you a tweet with the leaked jersey for FC Dallas.
I have seen it. It's not official is what I meant, but I have seen the leaked version. I don't like it, Nelly. It's boring.
You don't like it?
It's boring. It's very red. It's very red. It's very monochrome. It's got the white lines. Okay, whatever. What's with the darker red stuff underneath that? Like, am I supposed to notice that when it's on the field? And why are we going?
Think they're still.
Go ahead. They're
still trying to keep the. They're still trying to keep the whole hoops mentality.
Are they really?
The hoops.
Are you sure? Because you know what? Come on, Nelly. You know what hoops do? Hoops go all the way around. That's why they're called hoops. They go all the way around. These don't go all the way around. They're that bib thing. It's like the players are wearing a bib with a different design on the front, while the back is probably blank, and now you have the Adidas stripes, which are better on the side than on the shoulder, I fully admit. But now you can't do hoops because the Adidas stripes are in the way.
What I like about the little white stripes is that it reminds me of the early Dallas Burn jerseys. I don't know if you remember them, but we have stripes like that in the Dallas Burn jerseys. And I also am happy that they got rid of the big A in front of Advocare.
Okay, fair.
Idiot.
All right.
And they had a teaser. I think we're going to have white shorts. So it's not going to be an all-red kid.
All right.
That's one thing I never liked. That it was all
makes
red.
It better.
We were copying Toronto, Chicago, Real Salt Lake.
Right.
It's different.
Yeah, white.
So I like this version better.
White shorts.
Last year.
White shorts, red socks. That I can get on board with that. In fact, actually, white shorts and maybe even blue socks. There's some blue in there. Anyway, the white shorts will make it better. It just doesn't stand out among the rest of the offerings that we're getting this year. Nelly, come on. Look, I know it's going to pain.
Adidas doesn't do much with the jerseys. One of the rants I've had in the past is MLS should allow MLS teams to pick their own kit manufacturer. I hate it that we have Adidas for everything.
Sure, but that's part of
wish a team would pick their own kit manufacturer and every year come out with their own designs, like in Europe and other teams.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. But the reason we get one contract is because that one contract delivers MLS the most bang for its buck. This is why you get a better deal with one company representing everybody else and throwing in all of those benefits than individual teams would. I bet you the share that each team gets, even if the Galaxy could get more, even if the Red Bulls or Seattle could get more than average or than most, this is why they do it, because it gives every team, it maximizes the average handout for jerseys. I'm with you though; it would be more fun. I will say this: it doesn't stand out among what we're getting, which are starting to be a little bit more variety, Nelly, and I know this will pain you to have to admit it, but that new Houston black one with the chevron, that looks pretty good. Come on, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it looks ugly when they have the Texas flag at the bottom.
Okay.
Because it just doesn't go with it. Dallas is the original MLS Texas team.
This is true.
The jersey is going to be released tomorrow for the Cleats and Kicks event, which I'll be there tomorrow in downtown Dallas.
All right.
Every year, FC Dallas has the event like the Thursday before. It's part of a 4-night event. You go to the release party of the jersey, then the next night is the pub crawl where all the fans meet, and then Saturday night is the all-night tailgate party, and then Sunday you have the games. That's just a tradition FC Dallas has had for the past 4 years, I think.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, I've seen these. Okay. I mean, everybody's telling me. I've said this to you. Yeah, I've seen them. Thank you, by the way, Nelly, for your tweet. I have seen them. In fact, I made some. I quote unquote critiqued all of the new jerseys for 442, which that should be up today. If you want to check out my my humorous take on the new MLS jerseys for 2016. Nelly, you got anything else before I let you go?
No. MLS teams have to step it up for CONCACAF Champions League. They got to prepare the way Montreal Impact prepared, months in advance. Skip MLS games if needed, but they need to prepare like the way Impact did to win.
Well, if they want to, if they care, because guess what? The Impact submarined the beginning of their season last year by loading up for the Champions League. I respect them for it. I give Joey Saputo a lot of credit for the way he got his team ready for the Champions League, but that directly impacted, no pun intended, how they played in the league. And I think that a lot of teams aren't willing to make that trade-off. Not everybody is Joey Saputo. Maybe Merritt Paulson makes it next year. Maybe. If the Timbers make it through the group stage, which I hope they do. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right,
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks for the call, Nelly. All right, we're going to get ready to wrap this up in light of our tech issues. Got some things to work out here for the podcast version of the show. By the way, follow us on Twitter at Soccer Morning. I'm Davis JSN. Trevor is Hey Hayward. If you want to contact him on Twitter for any particular reason, he'll take all of your suggestions for the future of the show. Surely, right? He'll write them all down in his special notebook that he keeps by his bed. That's how committed he is to the future of the program. I don't know. All right, we'll wrap this up. Thank you very much for everybody who called in. Again, apologies for the lack of a guest today. We'll try to reschedule Sam Kelly in the near future to talk about the Argentinian Premier League. Guillermo Barros-Schelotto was hired by Boca Juniors. This is after, where was he in Italy, Trevor? He couldn't stay in Italy because of his club, his coaching license situation. So he leaves Italy, goes back home, and takes over at Boca. So that's good for him. Let's wrap this up. Ooh, that's loud. Thank you very much for listening. Come back tomorrow. It'll be Thursday. We'll see if any MLS teams make it to the semifinals of the CONCACAF Champions League. We might have more jerseys to talk about. There may be other stuff. We can go over League One America some more for fun. I'll see you then. Bye.